LGBTQ plus legislative day, or we did a thing and it was totally awesome. This is me, Abbi Swatsworth, Executive Director of OutNebraska. I use she, her pronouns. On the screen's a little bit about what I do outside of the office. And yes, I graduated in the 80s. Today, I'll give you a brief overview and then some details about our legislative day. At the end of the presentation, I hope you'll be inspired. OutNebraska started our adventure as a statewide staffed organization January of 2019. March of 2020, we hosted the first ever LGBTQ plus legislative day at our state capitol. It was the best thing we did during session, and I highly recommend it. I hope at the end of the presentation, you'll see how easy it is to do one in your community. I can't take any credit for the success of this project. Well, maybe a little, but not much. I have to say, Eric Ryder is a rock star. They are our community organizer and handled most of the logistics and details for the day. I'm here mostly to tell you how it went. So what were the logistics? There were 4 main areas of our planning. First were conversations that Eric and I had about our objectives for the day. Fundraising, did we need to make a lot of money or were we willing to just break even? How many people did we feel like we could engage? And more importantly, what did we want them to feel like at the end of the day? Impact, how could we impact a specific piece of legislation? Could we do that? Or was it mostly important to empower folks to tell their stories? And of course, visibility. How could we use the event to propel our image, not just in the State House, but in communities across the state? Initial planning was easy, mostly. It meant choosing a date and finding a staging space, in this case, close to the Capitol that met our accessibility needs and wasn't too expensive. Then came funding. That was where I really played a role in securing sponsorships and writing a mini grant that helped to pay for some of the costs. The most important thing, I think, was choosing the format for our day. Would it be a half day or a whole day? How much training would we provide? And how many senators were we going to try to target? We actually borrowed a format from another organization that's been doing a successful lobby day for many years. And they were more than happy to help train us on the outline and make sure that we could make it a success. It looked like this: breakfast and storytelling training in the morning, walking to the state capitol to observe some debate and call senators out from the floor for citizen lobbying. Then back to our space for a lunch and a panel with senators and Q&A. Then we generated letters, and that was the end of the formal day. But at the end of the day, we also hosted a rally at the state capitol. The meat and potatoes of the logistics came in things like marketing and registrations, which were all handled online through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, also through emails, and registrations were done using a Google form that allowed Eric to collect all the information they needed to match participants with senators in their district. Then we also had to reach out to senators, those we wanted to serve on our panel, and our friendly senators to help us strategize who we were going to try to target. Then we needed to make the training presentation and all the materials that would help folks feel confident to have the information they needed on the day at the Capitol. Eric took care of all of these things and also took care of securing volunteers, which we wanted to do so that we could have groups of volunteers paired with organizers that had already lobbied in some way so that our participants didn't feel like they were out on their own for their first time. And we had to secure catering. The day of the event, it was important that we made a visual statement. So part of the funding we secured helped to pay for t-shirts. So we had a unified look and we really stood out when we were at the Capitol. And then of course, I needed to trust the process and let Eric shine as our community organizer. And of course, the biggest part of the day is connecting with senators. Here's some pictures of our legislative day. We were really proud. We hoped to have 15 people participating. We actually ended up with 35, and they represented 15 different districts across the state. Only 7 senators were brave enough to come and talk with their constituents on LGBTQ plus issues, but we did generate 25 letters about a specific piece of legislation. We netted from the event almost $400, which was more than we had planned, and so that was terrific. So you can do this too. How do you do it? Well, start small. It's okay to think about the quality of the day versus the quantity of people that you have. Use the event to strengthen your partnerships with friendly organizations and friendly senators. You can use this also to grow your volunteers, engage them in the planning process, and also reach out and engage your board. And learn from the lessons that we had. We wish that we would have surveyed participants after the fact, and we wish we would have planned the timing of our legislative day a little differently in the session. So that's all there is to it. I hope you can see that it really isn't that difficult, and I can tell you our participants had a fabulous time, and so did we. I hope you'll go out and do a legislative day in your community. Thanks. Bye-bye.